Hey y'all, if you're a long-time viewer, thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you're new here, I'm donating half of all the profits of my channel for the next few months to help with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. I'm donating to the United Cajun Navy, who currently have boots on the ground and helicopters in the sky, trying to find missing people and get them food, clean water, and medical supplies. There are still so many people in need after this devastating loss and tons of people still missing. Thank you so much for helping me be able to help them during this terrible time. Please be sure to like this video, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe as I upload new stories every day for your enjoyment. Now onto the story. This is the third set of updates for I think my husband fathered his best friend's children, and now one of them is attracted to my daughter. If you haven't seen part 1 or part 2, or you'd like to watch the full story, all links will be provided in the description and on my channel page. Now onto the updates. Brief update. Hey guys, it's been a rough week. A lot has happened. I don't really want to talk about all of it in detail, so I'm going to keep this short. I know I never shut up. It's just how I am, but I'm going to be much more brief this go around. Luke has a lawyer now. I don't know him, but he met with Zach and Paige. To everyone saying I should have Amy arrested, I probably could have if I had shown the police the video. Instead, I just sent it to my lawyer. Maybe this makes me foolish, but even now, I think part of me is still trying to protect people I once loved and go easy on them. But everything's been on hold for the past few days because Jim had a heart attack. I saw Luke and I saw Amy and Amy's kids at the funeral. It was the first time we were all together since before all this happened. Nobody talked about what's going on, short of Amy briefly apologizing for what happened before. She did seem sincere, I'll give her that. But I wasn't about to call her out anyway. Amy, Luke, and Kat all seemed pretty devastated. I was too. But we all agreed not to argue or talk about the divorce and to just let the day be a ceasefire to focus on Jim. Luke and I had a nice conversation about him. I've been spending time with my kids and taking a couple of days off work. I have enough of them on the back burner. Luke also saw the kids twice, before and after the funeral, with me present. It went well. At my direction and Sophie's, they didn't mention Amy, and Luke didn't try anything funny with any of them. I think he does miss them and hate that he can't see them, thanks to all this. The kids are also pretty upset about losing Grandpa, on top of not being able to see Dad as much as before. I don't think any of them blame me, but that's far from the point, frankly. Carter slept in my bed the last 3 nights. I'll get more into this in the future when I have the energy to talk about what's going on in more detail. But whoever suggested that Kat lied about the test results was correct. She never sent them in. She confessed as much to me. I guess she didn't feel comfortable going behind her son's back, but did feel comfortable lying to me to protect him, until she felt guilty and she came clean. Under the circumstances, I am not angry with her, but I know better than to trust her anymore. As far as I know, she did not tell Luke about the test. But it means Tom could still be Luke's son. Probably is. My lawyers finished going through Luke and Amy's letters with a finer tooth comb. The bottom line is, they definitely found what it was that Amy didn't want me to see, and I now completely understand why she was so panicked. It has to do with why Amy and Luke didn't marry conventionally. They did something very bad. But this is genuinely something that I'm not sure I should be talking about, even on an anonymous internet post. I haven't even been able to collect my feelings about what Amy and Luke have done, especially with everything else going on, so I don't know if I should be more explicit. I'm sorry, I know that's not what anyone wanted to hear, but please try to understand. Paige agreed with me that when in doubt, don't post it. I've told my lawyers to put a pin in it for now because I'm in no fit state to figure out how to proceed with it or if I should use it against them. I'm just feeling like it, honestly. It's difficult not to blame myself for Jim. I can only imagine Luke and Amy are blaming themselves too. I know they're bad people. I don't forgive them. But this tore them apart as it did me, and I think all 3 of us feel like the divorce stressed Jim out to the point where it may have contributed. He already had heart disease. And in particular, I blame myself for showing him what I showed him. I showed him proof of the affair shortly before he died. I'll be carrying that with me for a very long time, even if I shouldn't. I'll update again whenever I do. I'm sorry. I'll respond to comments as I can. Update 5. Hey everyone. This may very well be my last update for a while. I'm in therapy now, as are my children. And from what I hear, Amy's children are as well, so that's good. So I should probably be focusing on healthier ways to expel my feelings. Nonetheless, I have talked to my therapist about these posts, and according to her, venting anonymously online can be healthy up to a point. If I do talk about my life again, I may do it in different subreddit or something. I'm still not sure. I have also met with the judge now. Many were worried about how these posts might come back to bite me in the ass, legally speaking. The short answer is that they won't. The long answer is that because they're anonymous, there's technically no risk of defamation or slander. I've changed enough of the meaningless details and given everyone fake names. The posts aren't going to be relevant in the case, and I'm clear to keep writing them if I so choose, so long as I don't discuss the details of the actual case itself. Though I think the judge would prefer I just stop writing these altogether, one of the reasons I may do so. Without divulging the specifics, I went ahead and reported what I had learned, and all hell broke loose. I knew I had to do so, because Amy and Luke had changed gears after Jim passed. They began to make the case that Luke and I had always had an open marriage, that there could be no such thing as an affair, and any instances of Luke sleeping with Amy could not be counted against him. It is no accident that they chose to do this after we lost Jim. As far as I can tell, he was the only other person who knew about what Luke and Amy did and would have done something about it. Now that they don't have to worry about that, I think they wanted to claim I always knew about the affair and that it was no true affair. When I didn't report them, they must have assumed I didn't know the truth, and they changed their story. But I knew. I reported it, and now they're effed. Which unfortunately means everyone else found out. There was no way the children wouldn't learn the truth through the grapevine. I told Sophie and Tom personally because I figured they would learn of it anyway. The others did. Tom was pretty shell-shocked. I know I'm just the messenger, but I felt terrible and I wanted to comfort him, but there wasn't a whole lot I could do. Poor Kaylee did not handle it well. I'm told she had several meltdowns and then tried to run away. I know she tried to run away because she came to our house for sanctuary. And literally, I had to give her back. I knew all the reasons I had to, but I was sorely tempted to give the middle finger to all of them and let Kaylee stay with us against Amy's wishes. But no, I had to relinquish her, and honestly, nothing has been harder than that was. I know it isn't my fault, but I still feel like I betrayed her. Sophie's also been dealing with a lot of anger toward her father, especially after he and Amy forced Kaylee to come back to stay with Amy again. All of this. It hit Sophie and Kaylee the hardest. Luke wanted to see Sophie again and she refused. She wouldn't come out of her room. Technically, I was supposed to let him see her, but she's 15 years old. I told her to come out of her room. She wouldn't. So in my book, I tried. This was after Kaylee's incident, so when Luke pressed me to force Sophie out of her room, I'm not proud to say I shouted at him to leave. My blood was boiling by that point. Throughout all this, my soon-to-be ex-husband and his affair partner are still acting like I'm the bad guy. Luke and Amy are angry with me, and that's putting it lightly. They have no right to be, but they are, or at least they're acting angry. I now have a restraining order against Amy because I was quite certain she would confront me after the fact, and she did. After I reported them, and before Kaylee came over, Amy came to the house while my kids were home, banged on the door and screamed. She was furious with me for what I had done, but I don't know what she expected me to do. I called the police, but Amy was gone by the time they showed up. They were just as useless as last time, to be honest. When Kaylee came to me for asylum, Amy came after her, but I wouldn't let her in until she called the cops herself. I would only let one of them take Kaylee. Amy was not setting foot in my house. I was very clear to explain the situation, but it didn't matter. Amy later smeared me on social media and framed me as a kidnapper. I set the record straight without divulging too much about the circumstances of the situation, which I was tempted to do. Luke also gave me the lecture of a lifetime when I saw him, but I just kept cutting him off and spitting the facts in his face. I don't know if it's been my time away from him, but I'm learning to recognize his BS now where previously I fell for it every time. He always sounds so reasonable and sweet, but what he's actually saying is often circular and evasive. Honestly, I am so angry with him for what he's done to his children, all of them. Kaylee especially. I want to adopt that girl. I know I can't, but I want to. Kat and I had a long talk as well. So far as I can tell, she didn't know, and she's genuinely sorry for her earlier deception. Trust takes time to rebuild, but I also understand that she was in an awful position. But now that certain things have come to light, she's kind of in shambles herself, so I pity her. Not to mention, if Amy loses custody of her children, and she very well might, I'll need all the help I can get. I can't take all of them in, I don't have the space. Kat will need to do some of the legwork. So I'm trying to give her the chance to earn my trust back, sort of out of necessity. I can't speak to the long term, but if all goes as it should, Luke's not even going to be getting visits from my kids. We'll know soon enough though, and it will be on record if Amy's children were fathered by him. All I know is they've always been quite certain Kaylee was, though they never had her tested. So far as I can tell, Amy hasn't really been intimate with anyone other than Luke for a long time. For the record, Kat is still supporting Amy financially, and by that I mean, she's supporting Amy's kids. I don't mind that. If Amy loses custody, that all goes away anyway. As to the how and why of Luke and Amy getting together, from the letters, I've put the pieces together as best I could. Amy was essayed as a child and Luke was apparently the only person she felt safe exploring her sexuality with when they were in high school. It was a very bad idea, and they both knew the reason it was a very bad idea well before they made that choice. As to the lie about them being surrogate siblings, apparently they always did have that kind of relationship emotionally, but they also did this. After Tom was born, they also believed Tom to be theirs. Going off the letters, the bond took on more romantic aspects as well. Amy describes Luke as my person, and he says the same about her. I did read the letters in more depth for as much as it sickened me. I wanted to understand. I'm doing better overall, though. Personally, I'm doing better, which makes me feel kind of guilty because nobody else is. My kids are miserable, which makes me miserable, but I know there's light at the end of the tunnel and I want them to see it. Luke and Amy are miserable, which, honestly, I'm not gonna say I'm glad about it, but I don't know what they were expecting. They've been playing a monstrous game for decades. It was always going to have consequences sooner or later. Amy's kids are miserable, especially Kaylee. I wish I could reach out to her again, but I absolutely can't accept Tom, and he needs to play this carefully. Kat is miserable too. We're all still reeling from the loss of Jim, and honestly, the Kaylee incident really tore my heart in half, but I think I'm over the hump and am taking comfort in how I'm actually choosing myself for a change. Additional information from OOP, clarifying some details that were asked repeatedly. OOP, it's not about cheating. Luke and Amy committed a particular crime that would raise alarms about whether the children are safe with them, and that's what I reported. Amy might lose her kids for this reason. This also has to do with the DNA tests. Due to the nature of the crime, they will be mandated. I did see the judge at the same time as Luke and our lawyers and asked him if these posts were okay. What is so hard to understand about that? Getting a lot of comments where people say, judges don't give legal advice, but they do make judgments. It's right there in the name, and that's exactly what happened. I explicitly said I cannot take in all the kids if Amy loses them. But Luke certainly won't be able to. He's no less on the hook than she is. Kat will most likely be granted custody, but I will continue to assist and provide somewhere to stay. Kat won't mind, and I'm a lot more than their dad's ex-wife. I'm the mother of their half-siblings who they've seen nearly every day for their whole lives. That's not nothing. Relevant comments. Who of the proper authorities did OOP have to report the possible situation to? OOP, in this particular instance, alerting social services was the way to go. They have not removed Amy's kids from the house, but they may in the future. You're right, a CPS report is not something you do lightly, and I still wonder if I did the right thing. I will probably always wonder. But under the circumstances, it was warranted. Luke and Amy having children together at all is grounds for those children being taken. Because Luke and Amy are siblings. F it. Everyone figured it out anyway. Is Amy still making accusations against OOP for any new issues? OOP, she only made posts accusing me of kidnapping Kaylee and lying about her and Luke, which caused a lot of commotion even after I cleared the air. Most people seem to believe me, or believe that it was a misunderstanding. As far as her claims of an open marriage, that was only the statement from Luke's lawyer. It's not widespread. At least not that I've seen. Neither of them have confirmed the paternity of Amy's children. She's maintaining that they aren't Luke's, and even if they were, that's between the two of them and no one else. DNA tests will sort that out. They'll sort everything out. As to my reporting, she and Luke are maintaining that they don't know anything about what I accused them of. But I have proof that they did know. OOP on Amy losing the custody of her children over a possible crime Amy has committed. OOP, not that I'm saying this is it, but that could result in her losing custody. OOP on how Tom is doing? OOP, not well. Apparently he won't talk to Amy or Luke. They blame me for that too. I'm pretty sure he's going to come stay with us the second he hits 18. Though he might stick around to look out for Kaylee. How's Kat, Luke's mother? handling the new details already out. Did she know what Luke and Amy were doing? OOP. Kat is definitely going through a lot, and she's always been a good mother-in-law to me and grandma to my kids, so I want us to get past this. I can only imagine how lonely she feels right now. I don't think she knew what Luke and Amy were doing. I don't think she found out what Jim did until I told her. More or less. Kat came to suspect over the years that perhaps Amy's children were Luke's, but she never had proof, and she never knew the full story. Did Jim do something that Kat didn't know? OOP. He cheated on Kat. Any chance Amy is related to Jim? OOP. Amy's mother was one of Jim's students. He was a professor. Luke and Amy are half-siblings.